2 podcast. Your host, Adam Stone, just Josh. I don't know.
No, I changed all that, so we're better now.
We're better now? Okay.
Yeah, it's
so
J_Brunette15.
That's all we
that.
get for the introduction. Let's get right to the things. We're going to recap the NFL real quick. We're starting with a few games. Vikings, Chicago Bears. Vikings for real. What are they, 4-1 now?
They are 4-1. I don't know. The defense is pretty good.
Cousins makes me nervous.
Dalvin Cook's got to stay healthy. Dalvin Cook doesn't stay
Madison
healthy.
looks good.
Well, Madison always looks good.
Justin Fields, if they were replacing him, he has looked absolutely awful. I know it's only his second year and he's only had a few. That's probably something that we could keep on the line.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We got Chargers, Browns. Chargers had a little scare there. They came back and did it. They came back and got it.
That's what happens anytime you play the Browns. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just continue to run the ball down your throat.
Very good offensive line. Bucks, Falcons. That was a closer game than it should have been. I was watching quite a bit of that game. Brady make me a little nervous. But that offensive line's not as good as it used to be. Wirfs is still good. Falcons, Mariota's kind of carrying the team right now. I mean, he's doing his best he can. Pitches no-show.
Whatever committee they had going on back there in the backfield was kind of doing some work against the defense, though.
They could be something to watch. Saints-Hawks, that was a very high-scoring game between Geno Smith, apparently one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year.
and the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I don't know where any of that was. I think it was 39-32 or something like that.
Well, Taysom Hill absolutely went ballistic. So
Jets, Dolphins, love what the Jets are doing. Dolphins, though, down to the third quarterback. Tough hit early in the game. His elbow and his shoulder, apparently, and then it turned into a concussion.
Well, don't you know it travels from the elbow to the head?
So I'm interested to see where the Dolphins bounce back. Eagles, once again, winner against Arizona. A lot closer game. Yeah. That was a lot closer game than I thought it was going to be, but look at Arizona's team. Arizona's team, I think it's a very average team. They have very good receivers. Yes. Defense is average. I don't love Arizona, but that was closer than I thought it was going to be.
Well, Kyler Murray just seconded my opinion. I think he stinks. Guy can't slide a half a yard later. He stinks, and then he spikes it to go to fourth down to kick it.
He gets a lot of money. He can't play Call of Duty now or something. Well,
it was double XP weekend.
And
they always lose on double XP weekend.
They do.
So
Texans Jaguars, that was a 13-6 game. I will want to note that both ESPN and Pro Football Focus said that Dameon Pierce broke the single game broken tackles record, 17 in one game. Kind of nuts.
Wow.
Is he the next Arian Foster?
Ooh.
We might have to get into that. We'll get into that later when we talk about if running backs matter or not.
Okay.
And then the other game that we're going to go through quick, Buffalo dismantling Pittsburgh. That was wild. We knew it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be that bad by any means. We both picked we thought they were going to cover the spread.
You said Bills.
I took it? Okay.
Yeah, you took the Bills.
Still, that was a rough game to watch. And,
asshole. I was trying to.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
I wanted Pittsburgh on the spread. Thanks a lot.
He got you. All right, so let's get into the games that we want to get into. I want to start with Dallas and the Rams. We kind of touched on this last time. Rams don't love the Rams. Offensive line is absolutely horrible.
You can't.
They had absolutely no answer for any of the Dallas defense. Once again, I said this last week. I know you're going to fight me on this. I'm sticking with Cooper Rush. I think you let Dak sit on the bench. Cooper Rush before last game, only quarterback with a plus 90 rating. Goes in, beats the Rams. All he's got to do is he's just got to guide the train. That's all he's got to do. I know you're a Dak guy, so I like Dak too, but is Dallas a playoff contender? So I also, before we get into this, because we're going to get to a couple teams that are contenders. What do you consider a legit team? As they might win a game in the playoffs? They're gonna make the playoffs. Like where is our bar gonna be for? Hey, are these guys for real?
I typically look at that as if they're gonna get to the playoffs and they're gonna make some noise. Like if they're a legit contender at the Lombardi, that's what I consider. So you consider
it's got to be a contender.
Yeah, you have to be at least shooting for that Lombardi. That's what I look at. I don't make the playoffs cool. I've had a team that's made the playoffs perennially for the last 25 years.
Green Bay fan, but I mean, I think if you make the playoffs and you can win one game, I think that's the bar that I'm going to use for Israel. And I don't think anybody would want to see. Currently playing, we're way too early. It's only week 5, but I think right now defense. I think they're the only team that hasn't given up more than one touchdown. Every single game they've given up.
Yeah, they've
or
given up
less.
5 touchdowns.
I hate
in
the
5
Cowboys,
weeks.
but I like their team. Kind of how it is. Next, let's go. We'll go on the other end of the spectrum. Let me talk about quickly the Colts. That may have been one of the worst games I've ever watched in my entire life. I still think their coach is absolutely horrible. Basically, wanted away the game. Is Russ really done? Russ Wilson is the oven off? Is he not anymore? Like, what's going on?
God, are you kidding? I think that oven's been off since he got like that.
He struggled last. I'm starting to I'm getting concerned. We have a friend who is a big Russ guy. I don't know.
He hated him after the trade, though.
He did, but he was bad last year. Got hurt. Then he was even bad when he came back. And I mean, their offensive line's really good. They've got really good receivers. We'll get into that later if they got a number one or not.
Does Russ know you can't put a can of soup? You have to take it out of the can before you put it in the microwave. Does he know this?
Apparently not. I don't know, because that was the interception. We'll talk about it because
atrocious,
horrible,
absolutely
horrible
atrocious.
Decision. And then again in overtime, the 4th and 1, that guy was open. If he pulls the trigger early. Waits way too long.
Haven't we seen this before from Russ? 4th and 1, going to goal. Like,
can't you just turn and hand it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Baltimore, Cincinnati, they were battling for first place. I didn't realize they were battling for first place. That was a very defensive game. I trashed Lamar Jackson last week. I thought he was a little bit better this week. I still don't love him. I still wouldn't give him that big money.
I'm paying him.
I know you're paying the man. Bengals, are we worried about the Bengals? Super Bowl losers? Super Bowl hangover?
I think they're... No, I don't think so. I think they got a good enough team that they're going to figure it out. But I'm a little worried that the offensive line still hasn't gelled whatsoever.
And they put a lot of money into that. 3 free agents.
They got nothing but better on that line, and they still can't figure out how to block anything.
I think D. Higgins makes way more of a difference than people realize.
Yeah.
Because when he pulled out of that game... Yeah. Baltimore was like, hey, I don't care anybody else other than Jamar Chase, and they couldn't get it done.
T. Higgins.
Who do you like for the division? Do you like Ravens? Do you like the Bengals?
I still like the Ravens.
You still like the Ravens?
Yeah, because I was kind of worried about that defense, but they've kind of showed this year, other than giving up big leads, which they did again this week.
Yes, they did. They blew that lead,
I still think that I think they're a good defense. I think they're good enough to get them to where they need to go to.
Okay, so then we'll move on. How are we doing for time? Did we start the timer? Did we not start the timer? All right, that's okay. Move on. I just want to talk quickly about the Patriots and Detroit Lions. The number one offense led by Jared Goff, scoring with didn't matter who his receivers are, puts up a goose egg.
Oh, the live studio audience.
The live studio audience. We have leaving Superman. 0 points.
Yeah.
Against New England. Now, the week before, Green Bay struggled against New England. We kind of were like, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Bailey Zapp goes in there, they put up 29-0.
Well, we did talk about how they're the worst defense in football. So, I mean,
they are the worst defense.
I'm not convinced on him being a guy.
That'll be interesting to watch because Mac Jones struggled this year, and Zapp has looked passable the first 2 games.
Yeah.
I only watched part of that game, so I don't want to be like...
One of the running backs went down too, though.
I don't want to be like some of the favorites, Scoop Bayless, where he's like, I watch all the games. I only watched part of that game. I was very disappointed. Are the Patriots a playoff team?
I don't think so.
Right?
I don't think right now. I'm not saying they are.
But that defense, if it could stay consistent, they might have a shot by the end of the year.
They need to have that run game. And who's the other running back besides Stevenson? I'm blanking on his name here.
Oh, well, it'll come to me in a second.
Yeah, bad hosts. It's fine.
We're bad hosts. I wasn't prepared for that question. Who is it? Ramondre Stevenson, and then the I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I was saying.
Damian Harris.
Yes,
I should have known.
He went down. He went down with an injury. They banked on Stevenson. If they have both of those guys healthy, that backfield's lethal, I think.
Yeah, and Bailey Zapp.
He put up numbers. He put up decent numbers.
He was 7. I just looked it up. 17 to 21, touchdown, 1 interception. They could have something with him. He was
He was decisive. He was getting the ball out.
He was getting the ball out quick. Obviously, at this point, Belichick's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
One other game that we're going to jump to real quick, unless you have something more to say about that. Titans and Washington. I was kind of, whatever. It is what it is. I don't think either one of those are playoff teams.
There was nothing to write home about in that game until the post-game conference.
Post-game conference. I'm trying to think of a time, and as Carolina, I'm a big Ron Rivera guy. I don't ever remember a coach yeeting his quarterback in front of a bus like that.
No,
I have never.
Yeah.
That was very strange to me.
After they just traded all these draft picks to go get him too.
And the only other thing I want to bring up, because I want to hear what you have to say about this, is when he played for the Eagles, Carson Wentz played for the Eagles. So for anybody who didn't know, Ron Rivera said the difference between being in last and first place was quarterback. I believe I'm paraphrhrasing.
Yeah, somewhere around that line.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, not very well liked in Philadelphia. Was the rumors out of it that his teammates
towards
didn't
the end
like
of
him?
it.
Towards the end of it, his teammates didn't like him. We don't know because we're not in the locker room with them. We'll never know. But sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm trying to think if I can think of a coach that's ever in front of the bus.
No, that was absolutely terrible. Alex Smith even tweeted out afterwards. He said, "You can't just go do that. You cannot be doing that too."
Because where do you go from there?
No, you can't do that.
I don't know.
I don't care if he is the issue. You don't say that outside a house. You keep that in house.
I'm gonna check to see who they're playing next week because obviously I didn't look it up, but I should have. And they might have a bye week actually. No, they don't. They don't. Let's take a look.
But I don't care if Carson Wentz is the issue. You don't say that post game.
Right? You never say that.
You don't. You could talk about it. You could talk about that in the locker room. Fine, do what you got to do.
So
you can't do that.
They're playing the Chicago Bears next week. Bears are 2-0 at home. Commanders 0-2. Thursday night, very quick turnaround.
Ooh, okay.
Do you think maybe this is a motivational thing where it's like, hey, our quarterback has to play better. If he plays better, we're going to win. Against, I don't want to say a cupcake of an opponent, but if you don't turn the ball over, you should beat the Bears.
Yes.
Like that should be.
That Bears offense shouldn't be doing anything that's scary.
Right.
I mean, Commanders defense hasn't been great. What about Chase Young? Is Chase Young?
When's he coming back?
Yeah,
know.
If Chase Young's coming back anytime soon, defense, it's like a TJ Watt situation.
I think
defense turns right around.
Ron Rivera, defensive coach, defense struggling a little bit. I don't know if that's the move to go after your quarterback. No. That was weird.
No, I did not.
Okay, so let's get to the games that we really want to talk about now. Well, I guess we
went over a couple of them.
We'll quickly hit the 49ers in Carolina. I like the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, I think, is a guy in the future, but not now. He didn't. I think he struggled.
I don't know how you I don't know how you turn the ball, give it over to Trey. I understand. There's a lot.
Defense.
There's a lot that's riding on it because you spent all that draft capital to
move
on
that, yeah.
and everything like that, but. He could sit for another year or two. It's fine.
Right.
Have you seen some of these quarterbacks that sit?
I think he's going to sit now. I mean, Rodgers sat for more than 1 year. I don't think there's any reason that Lance can't sit again. I like the 49ers. I actually think I might like them to win that division. They got a
sure.
They got a run game. It doesn't matter. Throw whoever you want behind that offensive line.
No.
Kittle obviously is there. You still got Debo. You still got Ayuk, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
So their defense is strong. Carolina fires their coach Matt Rule. Takes his buddy Phil Snow. Go back to college. I think Phil Snow did an okay job. Their defense was always semi-decent. They have a lot of pieces to it.
Yes.
Matt Rule could be the worst head coach of all time as a Carolina Panther fan. I don't know. I don't understand. He was like 11-28. Horrible. He has talent. That team has talent. I saw last night that they were thinking about apparently talking to the Bills about Christian McCaffrey.
How do we feel?
Couple. I'm sure this man would
He's
love.
smiling. He loves
I'm
it.
sure he would love having him on the team. I don't know because I saw some team saying that, or some report saying that didn't happen.
Interesting.
Carolina,
because I was seeing what you were saying that it was
right. That's what I thought. So Carolina, I think, has a defense before they got 37 or whatever day it was before they gave up all those points. They were they were a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
They have really good pieces. Sean Payton said it was a very attractive place. Because he likes Baker Mayfield, which I was kind of surprised about. But Baker Mayfield's out 3 to 6 weeks.
I don't. Yeah, that's a tough one.
So PJ Walker. So Carolina's season's
wasn't PJ
done.
Walker a Matt Rule guy too?
He was a Matt Rule guy. 2-0 as a starter. Hasn't put up great numbers. I think Matt Rule's the worst coach in history. He is amongst the worst for win rate. He didn't really know what he was doing. I think that was a fantastic move getting rid of him. Wilkes is just a placeholder. I think they're going to end up with either Sean Payton or. So they're gonna.
I don't know if Peyton comes out of retirement. I understand he said it was a track. I don't know if he comes out of retirement.
I think he got out with the Saints because he knew they weren't going to be a contender anymore. I think that's why he got out. I could be wrong.
If he turns around and goes in division on the Saints like that,
that'd be wild.
That'd be a lot.
So Kansas City, Las Vegas. Your former boy, Devontae Adams, loses his mind. That game was nuts. Travis Kelce. 4 touchdowns
on 25 yards receiving.
The man, our producer here is a big Mark Andrews fan, but I think Travis Kelce, tight end.
I thought it was Mike Andrews.
That's fine. That's fine. He took him number one in
Mike
fantasy.
Andrews.
Mike Andrews. Travis Kelce, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns
7 catches,
in 1 game.
25 yards.
4 touchdowns.
That's
hey,
incredible.
Las Vegas, you want to cover them in the red zone? Maybe is that a thing?
No, they didn't. I've never seen Travis Kelce. I've never seen him more wide open in my entire life.
That was a wild game. I think that is a season-changing game for Las Vegas if they lost that. I think they could have maybe right the ship.
Derek Carr even knew who Devontae was in that game. Three for what? 3 for 160 and 2 touchdowns?
Like that. So yeah, I know he had a 58-yarder, 48-yarder. Then Davante Adams maybe pulls a small misdemeanor. I don't know what they're going to classify that as. Very frustrated.
I thought he was 17, 94. I mean, listen. I don't know if we can go. Is that too soon? Is that too soon? That might be too soon. Might be.
We'll get into that later. But yeah, how much does Davante Adams miss Aaron Rodgers? And maybe it's the Packers as a whole.
I think tremendously because he's never played in a new. I mean, he has. LaFleur came in, new system, whatever. But he's never come in with new players in a new system.
Right.
I think he's finally realizing how difficult it actually is now to.
The grass isn't always greener.
And how to adjust to different teams. That's a lot. Again, like I said, he looked good. He almost had that catch on the sideline to keep them and put them in field goal range. There was. He played well. Yep. I mean, he still only saw 6 or 7 targets, whatever it was, which you can't really do. You got to feed him the ball.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Was running the ball.
Yeah.
And Kansas City had
They had the third-ranked rush defense before that game.
And they had no answer for him. Absolutely no answer for him. I really like Kansas City to go far. I think everybody does. Yeah. The Raiders, got potential, but I don't know. They could. I think
Devontae might end up in jail for pushing that cameraman, so then they might be screwed.
Yeah.
So.
I think that was a bad loss from them, and it'll be interesting to see if they can recover.
He was slamming his helmet on the sideline after all that.
Yeah, Did he do that with Rodgers?
I don't think I ever saw it.
I don't recall that.
I never saw Jordy Nelson or Randall Cobb cut him off mid route either and take him out on 4th and 1.
Yeah, so. that's going to be interesting
terrible
to watch because where did the Raiders put all that money in? Where do they go from here? You extended Carr, you extended Davante Adams. They're married.
Max Crosby's good. They just got Chandler Jones.
Yeah, that team they've got a lot of money in those positions. We'll see what happens. All right, Giants Packers. We have a lot. I think we have a lot to discuss with the Giants Packers.
Yeah. Wish we'd set a timer.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Again.
Chat. Do we have a timer for how long we're going?
You got 18.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll do 2 minutes. We'll do some adjustments.
This would be the quickest 2 minutes, not 3 minutes with Berman, right?
Are the Giants for real?
Yes, I think so.
That defense is really good. I would like it if they got more pressure on the quarterback. They had a lot of good.
They didn't blitz a lot though.
They had a lot of different scheme changes where they try to create pressure, but they never really left anybody until the end. They started blitzing at the end, the final one, and Aaron Rodgers got too batted down at the end.
And we have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones in the backfield. Again, turn and hand the ball. That's fine.
And having a very good offensive line goes a long, long way. The Giants went from one of the worst. The Giants went from one of the worst offensive lines to one of the best offensive line. All of a sudden, we have the resurgence of Saquon Barkley. He's got room to run.
Yep.
Daniel Jones actually looks like an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. All I'm going to say, relax. RELAX.
How much would Aaron Rodgers have appreciated Davante Adams on that final drive, where if you're sending the house, you flip it out to you're getting Davante Adams one-on-one. I don't know if the Giants would do that in that situation if they had a Davante Adams. I think
that's fair.
A lack of number one is really what hurt them that game. Super close. I think Packers are a playoff team, obviously, and I think the Giants have something really good here. So
that defense needs to start playing better. Last game was tough because the second half the offense went stale. They went absolutely cold. Yep. Which they're gonna be on the game. They're gonna be on the field a lot, giving up more yards and stuff like that. I understand that. We cannot have these running backs being held to under 20 touches in the game between the two of them.
They need more touches.
They need to get those guys the ball. That's our identity right now.
They have
through those two guys.
They have to stay away from second and long. They have to find a better way to even if it's short, quick passes, something they have to
LaFleur's
find a better way.
LaFleur's got to change something in that offense.
Because all of a sudden, a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5 with Jones and Dillon is a lot more dangerous than 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 10.
Yes, absolutely.
That takes the running game out. So, okay. Speaking of the running game, now we ruffled some feathers last week. Well, I ruffled some.
Yeah, you upset me a little bit.
We've talked amongst our peers. They've also not been thrilled with me. I will say that running backs don't matter in the end. So, and I want to.
As a Carolina Panther fan, I find that kind of funny.
As a Carolina Panther fan, so that should tell you where I'm at. So last year, and I'm going to go through Super Bowl winners and the running backs. Jonathan Taylor was the best running back in the world last year, right? Didn't make the play. If you go through, of the top 10 rushing, only one team that had a top 10 rusher made the playoffs. So that's going to be my exhibit 1, and you can start going back through the years, looking at the leading rushers. 2 years ago, it was Derrick Henry. They shut him down in the playoffs. Titans were done. Year before that, same thing. Titans did go on a little bit of a run with Derrick Henry, so I will give him his credit. Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt with Kansas City before they went on their big run. Ezekiel Elliott, Adrian Peterson, where they made it to the playoffs. DeMarco Murray, Sean McCoy, Adrian Peterson, Maurice Jones-Drew, Arian Foster, CJ2K, Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson. Of those teams, they have one playoff win. Leading rushers in the NFL. Now, I will give you the Super Bowl winners from the last few years. We have Rams, when they had last year, they won last year, basically a running back by committee. Joe Mixon was the Bengals running back. He had an okay year. I don't think he wasn't a top 10. He wasn't anything too crazy.
He wasn't top 10.
He might have been top 10 by the end, but when I did quick research, there was a lot of guys above them.
He was pretty good last year.
So then you have before that, now you have the Buccaneers Chiefs, which was Damian Williams, playoff Lenny, who wasn't even in the top 20 for rushing. Go back the year before, it was when Kansas City won. Again, they had Damian Williams. Then you had the hodgepodge of the 49ers running backs. Spread them out. Year before that, you had the Rams and Patriots. Now, that was the year Todd Gurley went down. C.J. Anderson was the leading playoff rusher.
Yes, that's
Patriots, you could go through. They had about 4 or 5 different running backs. Year before that, Patriots, Eagles. You had LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi basically splitting carries after the trade deadline. Patriots ran out about 5 running backs, as they do. Keep going back, and you can keep going back until, and maybe you can convince me on this, the Seahawks with Marshawn Lynch. So we're going back almost, and this is crazy if you think about it, this is now 8 years before you had a true top 5 running back make a difference in the playoffs. 1998 was the last time we had a Super Bowl MVP running back, Terrell Davis. I think the last time,
TD, huh?
Right, and I believe the last time
that was against my Packers too.
And so if you keep going back, you have to go back to almost 1998, where a top 5 running back actually mattered in the play. So 4 years ago, Christian McCaffrey set every record for rushing and receiving in a season. Carolina was 5-11.
Yeah.
So if I'm Carolina, I'm trading McCaffrey to the Bills for whatever they want. Get rid of him. I'm done with him. I don't think running backs matter.
If you look at a lot of those teams, though, as you were listing them off, playoff teams, whatever, a lot of those teams didn't get their run game going until the playoffs.
That's fair.
You control the game with the run game. You don't control it with the pass game.
You're 100% right, and that is why I think having an offensive line is far more important than running. I think you could plug and play any of these running backs nowadays because they're all good. You can plug and play any of them into the
now, if you wanted to say, do you have to pay a running back? That's where I'm going to start to agree with you more.
Right, because I think that's where I'm getting
but
into...
But you find a lot of these guys who are good rushers out of college, or you find a lot of these guys who will take vet mins out of, or cheaper contracts because they are washed up, or however you want to call them there. But a lot of these teams, you don't see them get going until you get to the playoffs, and that's when they start running the ball more effectively.
And then maybe this will be a good time to transition into, and maybe we can have our host vote if he was paying attention, if running backs matter or not. If it actually the running back matters, or if it's a just better idea to have a good team and then you stick whoever back there at running back and hope it matters. Were you paying attention? The answer is no. But that's okay, because I think this is going to get into a big thing, because we were also talking about wide receiver number ones. Dallas Cowboys had to give up Amari Cooper because they couldn't find any more room for him, right?
Good for them.
Zeke.
Terrible. I hate Zeke.
Terrible. But
Give me Pollard.
But his contract.
Give me Pollard.
His contract is why Amari Cooper is not in Dallas right now.
Yes.
Well,
I don't particularly like either one of them, honestly.
No.
Oh God, he's a dumb bitch.
Yeah, can we let somebody let him in quick?
Oh God. Bobby's already gone.
So, then I guess we'll go into the next one, where wide receivers number one. We talked about this. I think I got mixed results from what I found for people of what you consider a true number one wide receiver, and how many. Because we talked about this last week. We said there's not 32.
No.
We have decided there are not 32 number one wide receivers. And you and I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but when I made my list, so I made a list of guys that were number one or on the edge of number one. Do tight ends count?
I think absolutely. You're talking about a pass catcher. I think so. You could consider a running back number one. I mean, you're not going to see it, but if you could find somebody who would contribute that way, well, Christian McCaffrey might in certain cases, but yeah, absolutely. If you can find somebody who is a pass catcher that is, I consider that number one.
In my quick review, I have 24 number ones listed. Now, A couple of them are fringe, and we could talk about them real quick, but I think some that we can agree on real quick, unless you disagree with me. Justin Jefferson, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He counts as one. Cooper
Yep.
Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams.
AJ Brown, I wouldn't have said so until this
year,
Brown
right?
Looks
what
really
a difference
good, though.
that makes. Jamar Chase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Mark Andrews, not Mike Andrews.
Yeah. Not his twin brother, Mike.
Not Super Jag Ops Twitch, if you want to follow him. He thinks it's Mike Andrews, not Mark Andrews. DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf is absolutely another one.
So, two that I have question marks next to, maybe three. We'll get into all of them. Deontay Johnson. Now, I went through Pittsburgh and I said he's not a number one. I looked at the numbers last year.
He's close.
I look at the numbers last year. He was a number one last year. With Big Ben, who was 4,000 years old. Something out of a bathroom. Keep him out of the bathrooms. We don't have to talk about that.
No.
But
you guys know the drill,
we know the drill. But I listed him as a number one. I didn't think so until I looked at the stats. I watched most of the Pittsburgh games this year. I think he's a number one. You're more than welcome to disagree with me. And then also, at the end of this, I want us to discuss what we consider a number one. But I put him a question mark down. I'm counting as one. You don't have to. I understand.
I don't particularly like him as a number one because I think that team has two number twos.
Which is Pickens now?
I love Pickens.
Pickens is phenomenal.
Pickens might have top 5 receiver hands in the game. Are you kidding me? That kid goes out and makes plays.
He was nuts. So let's quickly move to. I want to go through this and we can go back to it. Kyle Pitts, struggling this year. You're not counting him.
No, I can't.
Where do you put him? Do you put him in this? Would you put him in the same category? What does he have to do to be a number one? He is there. He lines up a lot outside.
Yeah, which I love because I think that's where he does.
And he gets a lot of double teams out there.
Yes.
And the problem with the Falcons, they don't have anything else. Drake London, I do like Drake London, but I don't know if they have some offense to utilize.
They don't have the pass blocking offensive line to utilize anything
else.
Their
offensive line, I looked through it yesterday.
Their run blocking is okay. They run block all right.
The right guard's incredible. Everything else, like Jake Matthews, he's okay. Everything else,
Jake Matthews, 3, 4, 5 years ago was a guy.
Yeah, I don't like. I think it's Corey Lindstrom's the right guard. He's solid. Everything else is rough. The run game's pretty good-ish. I think they have really good running backs.
It doesn't help that Mariota's throwing the ball. I mean,
right.
Mariota's like a heartfelt pick that I love watching still, but he's not. He's not it anymore.
I didn't include them. I put a question mark. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, are they number ones? Are either one of them number
Keenan
one?
Allen absolutely is a
Are
number
they
one.
two just number twos, really good number twos?
No, Keenan Allen
number one?
Allen's got great hands, and I think he's a top 3, if not top 5 route runner in football. Okay. I absolutely love Keenan Allen. One of my favorite receivers in football.
Another one, and I know there's a lot of Pittsburgh fans that will not agree with me. Where do we put Marquise Brown? Is he a number one? His numbers last year were real good, but they didn't really have any other options.
No.
And he had a lot of drop balls.
He does drop a lot. He can't.
Killing it this year.
Yeah. He still drops the ball a lot.
Drops the ball a lot. I didn't know if I was going to include him on this, so I put a question mark next to it.
I'm gonna say no.
This might move him up. This might drop our rankings down a little bit. You're gonna give him a no?
If he can start catching the ball more consistently, yeah, because he's got big playability. He's a great route runner. He's great with the ball in his hands. He's electrifying to watch when he catches the ball.
The drops kill it, right?
Yeah, when he catches
the drops,
the ball.
I think knock him out of elite range.
Yes.
CeeDee Lamb.
Right?
I
like CeeDee Lamb.
I think we both agree that CeeDee Lamb's a number one.
I like CeeDee Lamb as a number one.
He struggled the first couple weeks of the season, but now he's kind of turning it around with Cooper Rush.
With Dank Kush, Cooper Rush.
I like that. So I listed this guy as number one. We can argue it if you want. I'll argue this all day. The Mummy, Amon St. Brown, I'm listing him as number one.
This year you have to, right?
Right, and he went it was like almost 11 straight games with 8+ receptions or whatever it was. Yeah. That to me is number one. Like they know he's getting the ball and they can't stop him.
No,
he was hurt.
Those first
he was
4
banged
weeks
up last week. He missed 2 weeks ago with an injury. They got the bye this week.
Those first 3 weeks he was unbelievable.
Right, he like last year.
You knew it was either him or DeAndre Swift that was touching the football. And it didn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Terry McLaurin, I think he is a number one. I just think he's got a really bad situation.
Because Commander Carson has not been it this year.
And even last year with Taylor Heineke and the hodgepodge that were the Washington quarterbacks last year.
I love Scary Terry though.
Right, we're giving him a number one.
Yeah,
so
Scary
now
Terry's great.
I have a couple that are in a range, and I have them now all highlighted, and I have them in a group, and we can X them off or whatever. I know you're going to say yes, but then that leads me to 2-part question.
Okay.
Chris Godwin, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is for sure a number one receiver.
So you're giving Mike Evans for sure number one. So does that mean you have to give Chris Godwin? Because Chris Godwin's top is better than Mike Evans' top. But Mike Evans' consistency is unparalleled.
It depends on what year you want to look at Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, you don't know what you're going to get out of him.
But he's been slowed down by health. Are we? If these guys if they're not durable, are we knocking them off the list? Is that you're not a number one then?
You
right?
Can't be. You're not reliable enough.
So we will X off Godwin.
Chris Godwin.
That might make we might hurt some feelings with that one.
Chris Godwin, if you put him on a couple other teams though, he could be a number one. Right now, playing in the shadow of Mike Evans and not being healthy enough, that's what hurts him. I think.
Okay, I won't fight you on that. DJ Moore. So now I'm going to throw something out for DJ Moore. There's only one receiver the last 3 years, since he's been in the league, that has eclipsed 1,200 total yards receiving, rushing. That's DJ Moore. Some real bad quarterback. However,
this year looks real bad. I mean, Matt Rule's gone. Goodbye. Pack your bags.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I gave him a number one. He's going to get paid like he's a number one.
Last year, he was good. I liked what he did last year.
He's got some catching up to do for this year.
Yeah, he's been awfully slow start right now.
Awfully slow start.
The entire pass offense has been.
I don't know if it's his fault, but are we penalizing guys for not having a number one, I guess, guy get him the ball?
Yeah, See, if you put that guy in a lot of teams, I think
there was rumors that Kansas City was asking for him, and I think he'd have 18 yards. But then again, that might say more about Mahomes than it does everybody else.
I think you can consider him.
So you're counting him? Okay.
He catches the ball enough. He's reliable enough.
I guess this was a little cheating. Amari Cooper. You're saying no.
I don't particularly like
the question mark. I think he's had some really solid years. I think he is a phenomenal player.
He's a great possession receiver. I don't look at him as much more than a very good possession receiver.
Now, for a while, Pro Football Focus had him listed as the elite number one. I don't know what they have him. He's played okay this year. Last year, like I said, it was that Dallas team was real interesting last year. Dallas had him ranked higher for almost the whole season more than CeeDee Lamb,
which is
I put a question mark next to Cooper. We don't have to count him.
I don't consider him. I don't consider him.
Christian Kirk, we're not counting him, right? I mean,
No.
he started.
I don't
off
care
the
that he got. I
season,
don't care
he's
that
out.
he got paid $148 million or whatever he got over 2 years. Like, no.
So then we have Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts.
Kind of like Mike,
Right?
even though.
But does he? But again, I don't know. I was watching.
I don't think.
Thursday.
I don't know if he could be classified number one.
I don't know if we can count him as number one because between him and that kid Price or Alec Price or Pierce, yes,
Pierce had a game.
He had a game like that second half. He looked like especially that final drive in the fourth quarter. And then I screwed up his name, of course. So we're not counting Michael Pittman Jr. as number one.
I can't. I really like Michael Pittman, but I can't classify him number one. I think he could get there. I think he's going to get there, but not yet.
I also had another question mark. DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. Ish, right? Yeah, he has to, right? I thought he has to. Suspended. I'm giving him number one.
Did he take the?
Did we? I'm sorry, Marquise Brown. We said no to him, right? We didn't love the drops.
Yeah,
drops took him out.
Did he take the ringworm cream? Is that how
I think
he
he
got
had the Fernando Tatis ringworm cream. Yep.
Tough.
So
That's tough.
we're counting Hopkins though. I don't care. We'll count him. It doesn't matter.
Because every year he's been right up there.
So then we'll hit Dallas or Denver real quick. Sutton Judy. Any of those guys? Cortland Sutton looks real good with Russell Wilson, considering that Russell Wilson's done. I don't know. I was gonna call
Sutton did well with Drew Lock.
I was gonna call them two number twos, two high end number twos, because I really like Judy.
I don't hate that. I might argue number one for Sutton. I think he's just a better overall receiver than Judy. I love Judy's top end speed. He'll blow the cover off of defenses, but I think you got to go. Sutton is clearly the better receiver of the two.
So from our list that we just did, we have 19 number one receivers, and I don't know if I can fit anybody else in there. I went through. I look at guys, teams number ones. I didn't really find anybody. Jalen Waddle, I don't know, because he looked real good last year. He looked really good this year, but now it's open.
Yeah.
Where do you put him? I don't know. Maybe if you want to slide him in there, that he could be a number one, but now it's tough because you got Tyreek Hill. It's going to be split. I don't know.
Yeah. No, there's not a lot of teams that are capable of having two number one receivers and giving him the ball. Yes.
Deebo Samuel. So even though he's kind of a hybrid.
Yes.
We're giving him number one status.
Yeah,
so now that puts us up to 20.
That guy's too good. He's too good to not have.
Right, and I think that was.
I can't really think of anybody else that would.
Because like Thielen, I didn't give Thielen number one.
No. 4 years ago, sure.
Yep, I didn't give him that for.
Lockett, you could probably say the same thing about Lockett 4 years ago. Sure, number one, but.
That's weird. But Tyler Lockett's got 406 receiving yards. He's a top 10.
I think he's more of that just deep ball threat, blow the cover off the defense guy.
We didn't talk about it.
I don't think he's enough of a possession receiver.
We didn't talk about this guy, or I guess either two guys. Saints, Michael Thomas, finally back this year. Then he got hurt. He looked
stay
like
healthy.
He's got to stay healthy. Chris Olave, I think, is going to be number one.
Yeah, I love Chris
Olave. I don't think he's there yet.
No. Mike Thomas kind of falls in the same thing as a Chris Godwin. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay on the football field. You can't be throwing your temper tantrums and doing what else you were doing to not keep you on the football field.
And then the only other one that I sort of had on here, if you want to give him, Brandon Cooks, who's put up some phenomenal numbers all across the board.
Who else is there?
But I mean, he was very good with the Saints, very good with the Patriots.
Yeah, no, he's been good.
They traded him, and now he's got, I think I don't know, it's Davis Mills, but I mean...
Dougie Mills.
Yeah, you know.
I don't...
We basically got a hot dog out there slinging pigskins at him. The guy's still doing pretty well. I didn't list him as a number one.
No, I think he's a great number two.
Okay. All right, so then I think we're at 20. We're at an even 20 with the addition of Deebo Samuel. Even 20 number one receivers. That's our official ruling.
I like that.
Chat, how'd we do?
He's going up on 40.
Okay, so quick.
9 minutes right.
Quick, let's get to baseball real quick then. Recap Wild Card Weekend.
God, that Rays Guardians game, bottom of the 15th.
Goodbye.
Wild game. Especially, I don't know if you saw that play by Jose Ramirez in the top of the 12th inning.
Yep.
That scoop and throw. I don't think I've ever seen a first baseman stretch as far as Naylor did.
That was
Bottom of his toes on the bag, perfect stretch. That was textbook.
That was a wild series, even though it was only 2 games.
Could not have been done better.
Who do you like, Guardians, Yankees? I know the Yankees, they're winning right now, 4-1.
I'm still taking.
You're still taking the Guardians.
Yeah, I'm still taking the Guardians.
I think I like the Yankees, but I don't like them all the way.
Okay.
I like the Mariners.
Mariners tough. I love their bullpen.
They blew a tough
I
game
love
today.
their bullpen. Their bullpen absolutely imploded today, though. And
I think
game.
Mariners, Astros, the winner of that goes to the World Series on the AL side.
I don't hate that thought. I don't hate that thought at all. Because the Guardians can't keep up with the Mariners offensively. The Mariners offense is great.
Yep.
And I think those bullpens, like I said last week, I think they're a toss-up.
Like I said, today was hopefully an aberration. We'll see what happens with the Mariners. NL side. So let's talk about the not obvious one first. Let's talk about the Phillies Cardinals. I think we both picked the Cardinals.
Yeah, I wish I didn't. But
the Phillies look good.
Wheeler, Nola are about as good as you can get in baseball for a 1-2. I absolutely love Aaron Nola.
Braves. I think I like the Braves in that series. I think it's going to be an awesome.
Phils are hot.
I think it's going to be.
Phils are hot.
I think it's going to be a Game 5 series.
Phils are hot.
You like the Phillies?
Yeah, I think I got to take the Phillies.
All right, I'll take the Braves. Now
they almost won with Ranger Suarez on the mound today against Max Fried.
Yeah, that was big.
Or they did win. Sorry.
Yeah, they did win. Yeah.
They did win today with Ranger Suarez. Who?
Yep.
Exactly. So
yeah, I think it was some guy in the street that went out there pitching. But no, I don't like the Braves. I think I like the Braves. You might talk. Let's talk about the series that we both cared about. Your New York Mets.
Yep.
Your New York Mets. I'll say they're my San Diego Padres, but that might not be true. Wow. Where do you want to start with?
Cheers, Mets.
Cheers, Mets. Going fishing.
Yep.
I hope they got their fishing poles out. I don't know.
Big golfing guys now.
Big golfing guys. Man, that was a tough season for the Mets.
Yeah, I think that team lost it when they got swept by the Cubs at home.
That was tough.
In mid-September.
That was tough.
Because you can't be having any of that. Got swept by the Braves at home. Can't be having that either.
And then all of a sudden you play a team that probably nobody really wanted to play, even though their pitching got really hot at the end of the season. Yeah. I know we both saw it. It was from September on.
Somebody looked really good game 2.
So yeah,
in that Mets game, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't Chris Bassett.
Game 3. I know we'll get to
game 3. Yes, I'm sorry.
But the Padres starting pitching was the best pitching for lowest whatever it was.
Yeah, since like September 1st. Which I would not have even guessed.
I would not have guessed it either. They got really hot at the right time. They won game 1, lost game 2 to DeGrom.
Which will not be a Met next year.
Who may or may not be a Met next year.
It was nice. It was good seeing you, Jake.
We can wait for the offseason. We can talk more about that later. Game 3. Wow. Game 3.
Game 3 was awfully interesting.
Cup of Joe Musgrove here.
Yeah, Cup of Joe. He didn't want anybody to have a Cup of Joe.
Dealing.
One hit. One measly fucking hit.
No. You and I think we talked about this briefly. So Buck Showalter calls him out. I think this. So I know you're going to disagree with me, and I want to hear your thoughts. Isn't that kind of the admission of you're going to lose?
I won't disagree with that. I won't because that guy was absolutely dealing. Did he still have a no hitter at that point? I think he did.
Was that after he gave up the single to Alonso? I
think Alonso was the 6th inning when he gave up that, and they did that in the 5th inning, if I'm not mistaken.
Regardless, wow, I don't know if I could do that.
It definitely was an admission that, like, hey, we can't hit this guy. I will
not. Game 3 winner go home.
I will not disagree with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
The more I heard it talked about on, what was it, Thursday?
Thursday, yes. Or whatever day it was.
I don't know what days it is anymore.
Yeah. I don't
Friday?
know if it was Thursday. Whatever the following day was.
Yeah. No, it was.
Actually,
Monday. It was Monday.
Yeah, it was later on. I was just like, I thought it was Saturday. But
it's fine. It's fine. The more I watched it, because I love baseball. I was still going to keep that on. I was still keeping up with it. Yeah. The more I heard people talking about it, the more I didn't mind that Buck went out and did that. One, Maybe you get in his head. Maybe you get him flustered enough to where he starts
wasn't
overthrowing
happy.
pitchers. Yeah,
he
exactly.
was not happy.
Maybe he starts overthrowing pitches and tries putting too much on the ball. When his RPMs were as high as they were, I understand the adrenaline part, which I do think it was all adrenaline. I don't think he was actually cheating. But,
well, they checked him and they found nothing.
Well, regardless of that.
Yeah.
I still think it was adrenaline. He was living the moment of a do-or-die playoff game, and that's why his RPMs were up as much as they were. But if they are up that much, why not give it? Why not? Right? You had nothing else to lose at that point.
And I think it's the interesting part of that was they were losing. The game was still winnable at that point.
There was only 4 runs.
It was only 4 runs. You do that. Hey, we're done. I think the fact that Joe Musgrove got pissed, I would think the opposite. Like, hey, you can't hit me. You're in a check. This is great. I'm in your head. When he was getting real mad about it, I mean, nobody wants to get checked. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But I just thought in a Game 3 winner go home, as soon as he did, the game was over. Like, you knew the game was over. That was all they talked about. You got to think that's your team sitting at the thing like, hey, my guys can't hit you. This guy's got to be cheating.
But let me just say this too. Buck was also feeling up baseball since the first inning.
He was. Yeah. So I don't know.
This was just. It wasn't like we got to go do this.
Right.
He was thinking about it.
Yeah,
he was sitting on it.
And I saw he had the shiny ear. We'll call him Shiny Ear Joe. They had to check his ear. Dodgers, Padres. I'm a Padres fan, but I don't think the Dodgers got everything.
Hey,
right?
you want to know who pitches Game 3 in that series too?
Who pitches Game 3 in that?
Shiny Joe.
Oh shit! Oh yes, Shiny Joe.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you what, RPMs are gonna be the big talk of that game.
That'll be a big part of that game, and it should be a warmer weather. Maybe the ball's a little slippery. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I think the Dodgers have just too much firepower.
We'll see if your ears are still shiny.
Right? Yeah. I think the Dodgers have too much firepower. I'm taking the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I want the Padres to win bad. I'm going to root for the Padres.
I do too. Manny Machado is one of my favorite players in baseball.
I don't think it gets it done. Chat, what time are we going, chat? What do we got? Oh, perfect. So this kind of fits perfect into it. So,
all right. Look at us.
So we're actually
forming a show.
And I'm actually happy because your brother came and he gets to hear us talk about this.
We're actually forming a show here.
So we're gonna hit Aaron Judge. I want to talk about Aaron Judge for a second. I'm ready.
Speaking of them Dodgers, they're up 3-0 in the bottom.
They're up 3-0. Okay, yeah. Aaron Judge, you're gonna disagree with me.
Yes.
I think at this point you have to consider him the greatest single season home run hitter of all time.
Consider him and name him very two different stories.
Correct. Barry Bonds at 73. Aaron Judge now is the all-time home run single season record for, we're talking baseball analytics, drug testing. Every reliever I think throws about 100 miles an hour. I don't know how you can consider anybody else because and this I'm going to throw this back to. A lot of times, Babe Ruth was considered the greatest hitter, right? He only played against other. So if I'm going to start...
Wow, that got heavy. That got really heavy.
But, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. You got to
Is
start...
this NPR?
This
Is this show NPR?
This is not NPR, but
okay.
I disqualified Babe Ruth then. I disqualified it because when Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds, they play against everybody. Aaron Judge now... the most restrictive baseball's ever been. We have shifts. We have all this analytics. He hit 62. He's to me.
You want to know how you beat the shift?
Well, he hit it the other way.
Or you hit it over the wall.
Or you hit it over the wall. I mean, we can get in that the other way too. But I don't know if you can convince me otherwise. Barry Bonds should be a Hall of Famer. 100% should be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely made me sick that he didn't.
We could say,
when do the Giants give him a one-day contract to renew his?
I actually really like that idea, and I hope they do do that.
Yes.
But I mean, he's drug tested. We'll see if anything comes up. But he's drug tested.
No, not
baseball
Tatis.
Analytics.
Not Tatis. Did Tatis get to him?
He's got rugworm. What are you gonna do? But I think of everything that you have going against Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hit 62. He is number one now in my books.
How many times did they walk him?
Well, that is your. I know that's your argument. That's gonna be a big argument for you because Barry Bonds got walked.
Do you want to know how many times that year?
I want to know, and then I hope you have it breaking down for how many intentional walks they have. Does it have it on there?
It does. Okay, so for the season that he hit 73 home runs, He got intentionally walked 35 times.
35 times. Okay. So Aaron Judge got intentionally walked 19 times with 111 walks. What was Bonds for his total walks?
177 that year.
100. So he got walked 60 more plate appearances.
Do you want to know what? That's also
How many
that is
games
21 more walks than he had hits that year.
Does it have? That's wild. That's actually a wild statistic. Does it have how many games that he played, Barry Bonds?
53.
153?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, yep. No, I kind of figured that.
No, it was just 53 actually. He hit he hit a home run a game and then some.
But do we care? Do we care in the long scheme of it that Barry Bonds could do whatever he wanted and Aaron Judge couldn't?
See, but everybody could do whatever they wanted.
Back then.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm just saying, if you take Barry Bonds drug tested, you put him in this league now, how many home runs do you think he hits in a season?
If he's drug tested?
If he's drug tested.
Well, I mean, as coming in with the Pirates, the highest he ever hit was 34 and he drove in. And his highest with the Pirates, he hit 116 RBIs.
Okay. So I think, again, we can disagree.
And he batted.
We're going to make our judge, who is Judge Super Jag Ops, because he doesn't really know a lot about sports, so I think he's the perfect judge for it. So I say Aaron Judge, drug tested, 62, going against everything, going against every analytic. They know where to pitch him. They have every baseball statistic. I'm saying Aaron Judge is the all-time single-season home run king.
All I'm going to say is, just because they drug test and all this stuff, do you think that means nobody in the league is doing steroids?
I mean,
or
some
any
guys
performance-enhancing
have
drugs?
ringworm. Fernando Tatis has ringworm. Judge, what do you have for us? We have Barry Bonds, which was almost 20 years ago now. That's kind of wild. And also another.
It was 20 years ago.
21 years ago. A shout out here on the chat
ago.
here. He loves sharing the video of when they intentionally walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded.
You know who did that? My current manager, Buck Showalter.
He was like, I don't want the smoke. I don't care. Take your one run. I'm not giving up 4. I say Aaron Judge. You say Barry Bonds. Final vote. What do you got?
He wasn't paying attention enough again.
Enough to know. Judge is pretty reliable.
So, there you have it. He says Aaron Judge, he knows the name is reliable.
The system is fucking rigged.
But
I'm done.
hopefully
your guy apparently didn't let him walk. Like, who does that?
Yeah. That was
break this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Keep going.
That same year he had 73. He had 156 hits. Almost every other hit was over the wall.
So, Aaron Judge finished the year with 177 hits. Does it have any? He's got 28 doubles. How many did Barry Bonds have for doubles?
That year?
Yeah.
32.
32. So he had more doubles. Okay. So, regardless, we've had our vote. He says it's not fair that Bonds just walked everywhere. I mean, I guess that's fine. Love to hear from other people's opinions.
Was Bonds traveling?
I don't. We'll get into that. We'll get into that later. All right. So, Randy, how much time we got? 52 minutes.
8 minutes left.
Perfect.
God,
All right. So
currently
we're gonna,
4-0 in the bottom of the third.
4-0. So we're gonna hit our final topic. Let's talk about it. Draymond Green sending his own teammate Jordan Poole to the Shadow Realm.
Hey Nate, here's your NBA talk you wanted.
Here's your NBA talk. Sends him to the Shadow Realm. For those who don't know what that is, he's on a different planet. He hits Draymond Green in practice. Is done listening to Jordan Poole. Says, you know what? I hit him with the one-piece combo. He didn't need 2, 3, or 4. Hits him with one.
There was no 4-piece nugget. It was just a straight. It was just a Big Mac. That's all I got.
That wasn't even a combo. That was a one shot.
Yeah. Do you think Jordan was taunting him about wanting to put a pool in his backyard and calling it Jordan's pool?
Maybe that's what it was. Where do they go from here? So Draymond Green sent home.
My issue with this.
Well, self-sent home.
Yeah.
The Golden
Jordan
State,
Poole continued practice, mind you. He continued practice.
I don't know how.
Yeah, no. But
did he continue practice with like playing baseball? He didn't know what sport he was playing. Was he Tua?
Was he Tua? Did we just not know? But I'm more worried about
the concussion now. Is he out with practice from Jordan Poole?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I'm gonna look this up while you're
talking.
Too bad
we're bad hosts. But I'm more concerned that the Warriors are more mad about the video getting out than what they're gonna actually discipline Draymond Green with. Are you kidding me? They said they might not give him any disciplinary action, but they're pissed and they might file class action
I saw
lawsuits
that.
on the fact that the video got out.
So this has
What?
all sorts of issues.
You can't. No, that's not.
So Steve Kerr also widely upset that this video got leaked. Now, as we all know, Michael Jordan gave him the one-piece combo way back when.
Nobody cared that
was
went
that
out,
was
though.
that the value menu? Is a one punch the value menu? Like maybe we should go from there.
Okay.
So he puts his lights out. Jordan puts Kerr's lights on. Says that happens. If there was video today, that would be a big deal. There's no video. This gets leaked. Draymond Green apologizes and takes a self-imposed ban from himself.
It was a better apology than Devontae Adams gave that cameraman.
Well, the cameraman, that wasn't even off the value menu. He was just, I don't know, he got hit at the door walking into the restaurant or something.
God, yeah, that was a better apology than Devontae Adams gave that cameraman.
So,
sorry, buddy.
Warriors, probably the favorite to win the championship. Warriors, Bucks.
Nah,
maybe
I think
the Celtics.
it's the Celtics. I think it's the Celtics.
You could throw them top three. We'll give them top three.
Okay.
We don't know if Draymond Green, what his deal is. Is he getting suspended?
He was looking for a contract extension.
Think about every single team that they play against this year. How many Jordan Poole jokes are going to... How many Jordan Poole comments are they getting?
Then does Draymond knock them out, or does he just go back and knock Jordan out again?
I mean, I think at this point, if he hits somebody, I mean, the league's going to crash down on it. Now you have the video. It's like this guy all of a sudden is going to be a problem. Not that he wasn't a problem before, because he was always kind of somewhat controversial.
Draymond? No.
He slipped. He kicked him. It was a slip. The guy slipped his foot up. It was maybe a low blow, maybe a slip. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be... They are going to be micromanaged.
You can't extend him. Or you can't re-sign him.
I mean, are we blowing up Draymond Green's Warriors' chances because he popped his buddy in practice? Which
think
probably happens a lot more than people realize.
What did he do in the playoffs? He didn't even play that good of defense last year.
He's definitely on the downside of his career. I mean,
he didn't even play that good of defense, which is what he's known for.
Defensive player of the year, always in the conversation. I don't think he's won it, but I don't know what you do with Draymond Green. Do you keep Poole and Green on the same team?
You can't.
I mean, it happens, but
if
the
I'm
problem
Poole, I'm not playing with Draymond.
I mean, this is the problem. You get it out now. Now you got to see it. Now everybody knows.
Yeah.
The fans know. The fans are going to heckle them. The fans are going to know. Opposing teams are going to know. And you're talking about a team that was a championship caliber team.
He won Defensive Player of the Year in 2017.
He did. He win. Okay, I didn't think he did, but thank you for checking that. We need a stat guy. Do you think Randy could be our stat guy? I think we might have to get Randy. Because then we could be like, Randy, did Draymond Green Defensive Player of the Year? He won't know what to search. He'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like, no, the sky is blue. What are you talking about?
Well, that's gotta spell that shit.
Well, yeah, I'll have to figure out how to spell it.
We'll get a whiteboard and we'll have to just...
But yeah, I think, as crazy as this sounds, I think this puts a serious doubt for them.
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you keep him out for? If you are the Golden State Warriors, what do you do?
They didn't want to give him any disciplinary action.
But now what do you do?
He has said, Draymond came out and he said, I've deeply apologized for what I did, and I know it's not on me to right this ship and to resolve this issue that we've had, that it's on Jordan, but that he is definitely open to the resolving of this issue.
Do you put him out for a month? Do you put him out for a couple weeks? Yeah, maybe give him.
You can't trade him out, can you?
2 minutes.
You can't trade him out, can you?
Can't trade him. That's the final answer. Can't trade him. Suspend him. Running out of time.
I think you gotta.
I think you suspend him for a month of the season and you see what happens afterward. It's going to be bad either way.
At that point, though, you almost have to force them to come back and reconcile.
I think you take a quick suspension just because the outsiders force you to do it. If you win the championship, you extend them. If not, who knows?
Okay, I guess I don't hate that. But then where do you put Poole? Are you extending Poole?
I'm sending Poole to the KFC value menu. I'll take anybody else. I can't lose Draymond. He's too good of a piece. He's just too valuable. He could keep the couple piece combo. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
That's gonna be something to look into for sure.
Yeah, but I like the Warriors to repeat this year.
Do you?
I like the Warriors.
Give me the Nuggets.
Okay.
Give me the Joker.
I want to see Warriors Celtics. All right.
Maul's coming back.
That's
give me the Joker.
Follow us Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. At the Adam Stone Sports Jargon Podcast.
J_Brunette15.
Follow our guy Super Jag Ops on Twitch. He's our producer. Thank you. We will see you next time.